Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando, and no video here today, like of me, but because we just did this and we were just kind of messing around. Obviously, today we have this Forest Moon Assault battles, and again, like I said, we're just messing around, and I was like, you know what? Let me just try this team. Challenge Tier 1 was a little bit different team. You'll see it whenever I upload the video. It was basically this team, but a C3PO led and K2SO who's like gear. I don't even know. You'll see in the video, but I just wanted to do this quickly before the video, just so that way like I could dispel like I have terrible mods on these guys. Like it's not they're not good. Like I don't these guys aren't usually like my primary characters, with the exception of maybe like 3PO and Chewie, because I mean he's pretty dang good. But like other than him, like I didn't change mods or anything. And it just was funny to me, and people were asking me on my Discord, like, "Hey, how does this work? Like, what's going on here?" And so I'll talk through that while the battle plays. I'll probably speed it up so that way we don't have to watch like all the entire battles of Phase One and Phase Two, or Tier One and Tier Two. Um, but yeah, I tried a few different things for tier two. Tier two was definitely a lot harder. I had to actually like sit down and like think about like each play that I was kind of making. But overall, like it was quite easy, and it's all because of him. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's nothing good that's happening with the rest of them. A little bit with Chopper. There's some interactions here between these two that could potentially happen that makes it very very cool. But overall, it's just really him that's kind of carrying the team. And so, yeah, I thought it'd be kind of funny to make a video. So hopefully you guys enjoy. I'll explain a little bit more of like what's going on in the mechanics once we get into the actual video. Okay, so this is going to be challenge tier 1, guys. And I've got this at like mega speed. So that way we can get through this. And like I said, this isn't a 30-minute long video. But yeah, you see here I'm mostly using K2SO just because he is a rebel, so the stat boost is going to go to him as well. So that's the big key here, guys, is the stat boost is going to all the rebels. So Chupio is taking all of C3PO's protection and all the good stuff there, and he's passing that. He's gaining 40% of that himself, and then he's passing 20% of that to everyone else, on top of the fact that R2D2 is spreading another 10% of all of his stats that he stat shares. So really, challenge tier 1, it's not that hard at this point. I think a lot of people have teams that beat it, so I just was just kind of just trying this out. Like this was my first attempt at this. I realized there was probably some misplays there, like taunting with Chopper, and so I'm just kind of experimenting here with some of the abilities and like what the actual damage output is. Another misplay is probably, I think it's going to come up soon. I do the big blast move on wave 7 instead of saving it, so I learned that for the next time around. Um, which right there it just happened. And yeah, I learned from here too. Cooldown management is really important because the daze really just kills his team. So as long as you can cleanse right off the bat, then you should be good. But yeah, I just thought it was really funny. This is supposed to just be a cool little video about how a leaderless um, rebel droids faction can get this done. And so I was actually pleasantly surprised whenever I did challenge tier 1. And then people in my Discord, people in my alliance were like, "Hey, try to do challenge tier 2." And I was like, oh, "I don't know, man. That's really tough." So I tried a few times and I made it to like round 4. And then I finally decided, like, well, why don't I use BB-8 instead of K2SO? He's not rebel, but he is resistance, and a couple of those droids are resistance as well. So I figured, why not? And this one's gonna be a little bit slower speed wise, so that way we can actually talk about what's going on. So the taunt there is actually kind of annoying, um, but once I learned that like I can kind of use it to my advantage, um, which the advantage is the event special, right? You gain all that create avoidance and defense up and all that good stuff. So you're able to kind of reheal and kind of go about tanking with BB-8. It's kind of weird. I never thought that that would happen, but it did. And you'll see later on, like I start using it more and more frequently. I think I was thinking about it there, but I didn't do it. But yeah, it's actually quite helpful and makes him super, super tanky. And whenever he, obviously with his Zeta, um, is basically he when he counters, he's able to call in someone else, and that calls in Chupio. It's actually just really, really quite amazing. It was really just fun to watch this and play through it, and it was mentally pretty challenging. However, I will also say, comparatively, oh, and then you're trying to time those big hits out because every time that you kill someone with that, you gain 10% stacking offense with Chupio. But yeah, like, so the funny thing about all this is that, yeah, I found out like just a few things like that Chupio one is really good. We've known this, but two that BB-8 is very survivable, and the third one that I found out was actually that I think this is easier than um, the the other like Thrawn cheese team. I think this was easier to be quite honest, and it didn't take as long either. The total this video was before I sped it up. This clip for challenge tier 2 was 12 minutes and like 6 seconds, I believe. And that goes back to, so right here you're seeing that I'm gonna, like, I learned from the first time where I used important abilities right uh, before a big wave, which is 4 and 8, and that Illuminate Destiny is huge right there. Throw Burning on Tebow. I'm just gonna try to expose, and then I'm just gonna give him the big hit. And yeah, you see that that's just crazy good damage. Yeah, like I don't know, it was definitely a bit strange comparatively. I'd always kind of relied on the cheese team because I did not have like super nice separatist droids or I know some people had been using Vader with EP, I believe, after the rework. I was never able to get that down, but this seemed really easy to me. Like I said, the only failed attempts I had was I originally had C3PO in lead. I decided to put R2D2 just because he is Relic 7, so figured there's a little bit more stat sharing there. But I think the big thing was BB-8. I don't think I had used him before. So there you start seeing me. I'm using the event special to reheal and also because I know that I'm going to be tanking hits with him. And so yeah, just gonna go through here again. It's like I know I'm in round 6, so I was like, okay, it's about cooldown management. So I have an Illuminate Destiny ready, and I could have probably used it and probably recharge up another one, but I never trust myself with these types of things. And so yeah, I'm going to just continue to not use it, and we're just gonna save up the cooldowns, make sure that we're ready for the big tier 8. And it's fairly simple once you get to tier 8. Like it's, I think that like honestly I might have misplayed a little bit on tier 8. You'll see I do the big blast to kill Elder and everyone. Maybe I should have just single target damage because we do actually decent damage at this point because of how many people Chupio has absolutely murdered through that AoE blast, and with all the exposes and stuff like that, you're just hitting really, really hard. And again, we're just covering down onto the cooldown, so I'm making this probably more painful than it needs to be. But we learned from last time, so good luck for us is that we landed right on Illuminate Destiny. And now we're just going to try to... So this is where I said, like, maybe I could have just single point damaged him down, but I didn't want to risk it. So you see I'm thinking about the blind or the mass blast there. And we eventually just go with the mass blast and everything's fine. The daze is just a little bit of annoyance here. but it's surprising to me how simple this was once we got it rolling. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully it explained a little bit more. Maybe it's a fun team for you to practice with, just to break up the monotony of doing the 700 stacks of B1. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you guys so much for supporting the channel.